Hello and welcome back to the LGM YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing our Premier League predictions. Yeah, I know the last one was only about 4 or 5 videos ago, but you know what? Clean slate. Like we said in the update, we are starting again. However, we're going to do the predictions a little bit different this time. 20 teams. To predict 20 teams is quite difficult. We're just going to move the mic a little bit closer. There we go. I don't know if you can see it in shot there, but we'll go with it. It makes me sound better, so we'll go with it. We're going to do the three relegation teams and the European spots. So that's the top seven. So we're predicting half the table virtually, well, half the teams. Because like I'll mention like the other teams I think might finish around those spots, but I feel like the main focus should be on those spots. We'll also do our top goal scorer prediction, our player of the season, top assister. We'll see where we can go from there. But I think we should just get straight into it pretty much. So we'll move on and we'll see who we get in 20th, 19th, and 18th. In 20th position, I have gone with Fulham. Fulham are the definition of a yo-yo team. Marco Silva, I think, will be gone by about January, February time. He'll start off decent. Obviously, they've got Liverpool no opening day, so it's hard for them to push on from there. But I think people will see like, oh, they have a good start. They're going to do well this season, and then by October, November, down they go, down they go, and Marco Silva will be gone. Business been okay. I mean, Andres Pereira is probably the right level for him. But it's what you expect from a relegation scrap team, like literally scrapping for players. And I think they're going to go back down. I think them and Norwich are almost similar in the way they manage each other, like they're yo-yo. And I think Norwich might come back up from the Sky Bet Championship. We'll see. Moving into 19th. Now, this is going to shock a few people, but I'm going to go with Nottingham Forest. Uh, I know it sounds daft to say that. Everyone's saying, oh, honeymoon, they're going to stay up. And I did go through my head. But I just think the money they're spending is going to come back to haunt them. I mean, I know they've not spent like loads and loads, but the main one that sticks out for me is giving Jesse Lingard £200,000 a week. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a good signing for them. But on £200,000 a week, that's gonna. You say this. We say this all the time. Like, oh, it's going to rile up players, but there's a difference when you think about these players. With Liverpool, obviously Mo Salah signed a new contract worth 350k a week. That's because he's one of the best players in the world. You expect that. You expect him to be on that kind of money. But Jesse Lingard is going to be on. Is going to be on like 200k a week. I mean, it's going to really upset the team. I think, and I think there's going to be a bit of disharmony. There's going to be a bit of getting used to the league. They could well stay up. They could well, but I don't think they will. In 18th, I'm not sure if I said them last time, but we are going to go with Southampton. Their time's coming. Their time's coming. They've been they've been around low mid table to the relegation scrap for a while now, and I think their time will come this season. I think Hasenhüttl will be out of a job. I think their players will start to feel the effects. I think they're one of the teams that are going to be really affected with this being a World Cup year, and I think this is going to be a tough season for Southampton. And I think their business has been okay. They signed a good goalkeeper. Signed Joe Rebo from Rangers. Very good signing for them. I don't see them staying up though. Personally, I know a lot of people may be like, "What?" But I can see. I'm going to mention other teams as well. Like Bournemouth could easily be in that bracket. Obviously, they're newly promoted, and could easily go back down. Brentford, you never know. Second season syndrome might kick in. Leeds, obviously, with how they've done last season, you don't know how they'll do this season, and you don't know how their new signings are going to mix in with the sales of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips. And obviously Everton, who I've not been convinced by in the transfer window. I don't think they've even spent any money. I mean, they brought in James Tarkowski in a free, but have they spent any money in like actual transfers that wasn't a free transfer? I don't think they have. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yet, I think Southampton's time's coming. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be the case for them, and I think they're going to get relegated. Now, we are swiftly moving on, and this just makes my life in editing a lot easier. But we're moving into the European spots now. Seventh place, the Conference League spot. Well, unless the FA Cup winners aren't. So, but that's a story for a different time. Seventh spot, we are going to go for Leicester. I think Leicester will make a rise back up the league. They didn't have the greatest of seasons last year. They were ridiculed with injuries last season, nearly more than anyone else. And I think if they were to get 7th, get Conference League, get back into Europe, I don't think they can complain. They're in Europe at that point. Obviously, they're in Europa League, but they'll take a 7th place finish, the team. The business hasn't been really that much going on at Leicester. Could all still change depending on whether any big players leave. If a player like James Maddison or Yuri Tielemans says they want to leave to go and play in European football, or more specifically the Champions League. But we'll see. But I think 7th will represent a good season for Leicester. I think they can strive for better, but the top 6 teams above them will only get stronger. Well, maybe 4 of them, but I think Leicester finishing 7th is about right for me. I don't see them finishing like low mid table or in the bottom half of the table. Lowest I could see them finishing about 8th or 9th. But I think they will be in around that bracket. 6th position, I'm going to go with Man United. Don't get me wrong, I think they've done some okay business, and I think for the first time in a while, I've said this to everyone who's doubting them, I think Ten Hag is the right appointment for the first time in a long, long time. I actually think he's the right appointment since Sir Alex Ferguson. For the simple reason, I think he's got a philosophy that the players want to get behind. Ollie didn't have that. Rangnick certainly didn't have that. Moyes didn't have that. Van Gaal didn't have that. And everyone turned on Mourinho after a season or two. And I think for the first time in a while, they're willing to get by Ten Hag's system. But I think the Ronaldo saga is going to obviously drag on until deadline day. You don't know if he's going to stay or go. If he stays, how's he going to play? I don't think he's a problem for the club. He's an indirect problem for the club, where it means everyone else around him will start to down tools because they're so reliant on him. But I don't think that's going to be an excuse for them, because I think he will end up going. I think I've watched a video on like some transfers and teams, and the way they describe Man U is growing pains. And they're going to go through another period of transition, much like how Liverpool did at the start of Klopp's reign, or maybe the start of Arsenal with Arteta. There's going to be some frustrating moments. There's going to be some very frustrating moments. I think for them, it's just to get consistency going this season, and then see where they can lead in the second season, and maybe get more of their transfer targets. Obviously, they failed with the likes of Frankie de Jong, and so we can see what they can do with that. Obviously, Eriksen, good signing. Not a player I think they necessarily need, but okay, you can have Eriksen. Malacia, I'll be lying to say I've ever watched them play, so I really can't give an opinion on that. But I think it's going to be another tough season. Obviously, Lisandro Martinez, good signing. Centre-back who can play in defensive midfield as well. So it's interesting to see where their future lies this season, but I don't think there's going to be much for them in terms of silverware or competing for titles. In 5th spot, just missing out on Europe. I am missing out on Champions League, I should say. I'm going to go with Chelsea. For the simple reason, their attack is really, really weak. Their best forward is their new signing, Raheem Sterling. And even if Lukaku or whatever stayed, he'd still be the strongest, because Lukaku, I was wrong about Lukaku. I said Lukaku could charge Chelsea towards the title, and I was wrong. He really didn't fit the system. He didn't fit a Tuchel-style system, which I'll say again is not sustainable. It's not sustainable to win a title, and I think this will not be sustainable for them to even get top 4. And I think he could be one of the first managerial casualties of the season. There's your hot take for the season. I think Thomas Tuchel might be one of the first 2 managers to be sacked this season. I think the board will start to turn on him. He's come out expressingly saying he wants new signings. Obviously, he wants a striker. He wants 2 more defenders. I wonder why in his system. And we can see where they can lead on from this season. But honestly, teams around them are just getting stronger and they're getting weaker. Personally, that's what I think anyway. So 5th place, I'm saying for Chelsea, 5th place. Now, moving into the top 4, we're going to do 3rd and 4th at the same time, because it's pretty much the same spot, really. And we're going to go with the 2 North London clubs. We'll say Spurs to finish 4th and Arsenal to finish 3rd. I know everyone's saying, oh, look at Spurs' signings. It's going to be a 3-horse race. No. People need to realise Liverpool and City, up here. Everyone else, down there. It's not a competition. I was wrong to say Liverpool would finish outside that top 2 last season, and I'm not going to fall into the same trap again. They are going to get the top 2, obviously. I think Arsenal will squeeze Spurs for third because I've been a bit more, what's the word? Satisfied? Not satisfied. Let's just say satisfied with their transfers than Spurs. Quantity doesn't mean quality with Spurs. I'll get it. I'll give them credit where credit's due though. Yves Bissouma, good signing. But to see the rest of them like Richarlison for that amount of money to be a backup pretty much, I don't see it. Fraser Forster, good backup goalie. Longley was an outcast at Barcelona. He wasn't doing very well there either. Who else did they sign? There's two more they've signed. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. I don't rate Spurs' transfers as much as everyone else may. I think they will get top four, but I don't think it's going to be as good as the season everyone's saying it's going to be. And obviously, I said Arsenal for third. I've been a bit more calm with their business and a bit more upbeat about their signings. Jesus, I think, in an Arteta-style system, will do perfectly. It's very similar to a Guardiola system. He's going to be competing for top four, and I think he's going to push them towards it to get Champions League for the first time since Wenger left. And obviously, I think the signing of Fabio Vieira, I'll be lying if I said I've watched him consistently, but apparently he was one of the best players in the Portuguese league alongside Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz at the time. So I can only say that's a good signing for them. And obviously Zinchenko will provide good competition for Kieran Tierney. And I think they're going to get top four this season. I think they will start to get a bit more consistent. I could be wrong, obviously. It could completely flip between them and Chelsea. But we'll have to just wait and see. Now, the big one. The top two. I think you all know who the two teams are. I said last season Manchester City would win the title, and they did, albeit on the final day. I said they'd win it a lot more comfortably because I didn't think Liverpool would be as good. But I think, and I know it's going to completely shock you all, I'm going to go with Liverpool to win the title. I have actually been so confident with Liverpool's business this summer. Obviously, I want us to sign Bellingham, but we need a striker as well. And Núñez is available. Bellingham wasn't. So you have to balance it out. So Núñez comes in. We've got our striker. We've got a player who we can whip balls into the box for, who can get his head on the end of most of Trent's and Robertson's crosses. People are already doubting him because of a couple of clips from pre-season. Shush. Just shut up. Honestly, he's going to bag a lot of goals in that system. Growing pains, again, it's going to take time for him to settle in. We've got the squad to do that. We've got Firmino. We've got Diaz. We've got Salah on a new contract. Yes, okay, fair enough, we've lost Mane. But he's not our best forward. Salah is our best forward. And Luis Diaz was almost like our best forward for the last few games of the season. And so I think we're going to win the title over City. Don't get me wrong. I think City's business as well has been really good. They've actually done it the right way, selling to buy this summer. Haaland, obviously, brilliant deal. Around, what was it, £54 million release clause? Fantastic deal. Julian Alvarez, I think he's going to be one of the next big things. Another great signing. Calvin Phillips, good signing, but I don't think it's a player they needed. But hey ho, if they think it's a good signing, go with it. Again, this is not going to be 5-10 points difference. This is going to be another 2 or 3 points. My main concern with Liverpool is the midfield depth. Can Liverpool withstand 38 games with that midfield? I don't think they can. To an extent, I don't think they can. But I think the attack is so reliant on Trent and Robertson that I don't think the midfield will have too much of an issue. Maybe bar Thiago, obviously, because he has his creative spark. I want to see the young players get more of a chance. Obviously, the new signing Fabio Carvalho. And Elliott, who's now fully fresh, had a full pre-season, fully recovered from his ankle injury. I would say he goes into our best midfield three, alongside him, Thiago, and Fabinho. It wouldn't surprise me the first day of the season if he starts in that right centre midfield role. But I think Liverpool are going to push. I just don't think, with how good this team is, we can go 3 seasons without winning one of the big boys. I just can't see it happening. I think we're going to win the league this season. I think we're out for redemption after the way we lost it the final day. We thought we were going to win it, then we weren't going to win it, then we thought we weren't, then we thought we were, then ultimately we were. Don't get me wrong, City still give me the fear. And I think easily they could win it as well. That midfield depth is going to be crucial for them. just like how our forward depth is going to be crucial for us. But I have belief that we're going to win it this season. I do have belief that we're going to win it this season. So that's my predictions out the way. Now let's get into who's going to win the individual awards. This may end up being very biased, but top goal scorer. I say it's going to be very biased, and then straight away I'm going to go with someone else. Well, I was going to say Salah, but let's be different. No, it's not really different, but a lot of people are obviously going to say this. I'm going to say Erling Haaland to get top goal scorer. I think him getting balls in from De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva and João Cancelo, he's going to have an absolute field day. He's going to have a field. I think Grealish is going to have a bit of a redemption season as well. And people will start to see why City actually brought him in the first place. And that moves on to my top assister, Kevin De Bruyne. I think Trent again will run him close. I don't think De Bruyne got as many assists as people said he did last season, but I think it's going to be different when he's got Haaland on the end of most of his passes or crosses. And player of the season, I'm going to go with Luis Diaz. I think full pre-season behind him. He's got sharpness, you wouldn't believe, pace, quickness, skill. He's got assists. He's got goals to his game. I think he's going to have an absolute wonder season, and I think he's going to be Liverpool's best player and the season's best player, and he'll drive Liverpool towards the title. Domestic cups, League Cup, I think it's going to go back to City. FA Cup, let's say Arsenal. Let's just say no. Actually, no. We'll say Spurs. We'll say Spurs. I think Conte is going to finally win Spurs a trophy. So those are my Premier League predictions. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll be sure to see you before Saturday for the Community Shield preview to see if Liverpool can get their first trophy of the season. Am I counting it as a trophy? If Liverpool win it, I am. If we don't, it's not a trophy. But yeah, until next time, sayonara.